Look at any map of human history, and all roads eventually lead to this exact geographic bottleneck. Istanbul straddles two continents, operating as the physical capital for two consecutive empires, first Christian, then Islamic. That dense friction between East and West is baked directly into the streets of the Beyoğlu district. It is an area defined by cosmopolitan overlap, where different faiths, cultures, and merchants have crowded together for centuries. Sitting firmly within that geography is a preserved neoclassical structure. Designed by Akil Manousos and built in 1893, it originally operated as the Bristol Hotel, hosting international travelers arriving to experience the Ottoman capital. Today, those historic walls house the Pera Museum, focusing on the intimate, everyday lives of the people who inhabited this crossroads. To grasp how an empire actually functions, you have to look past the palace decrees and examine the physical objects left behind by its citizens.
We start with the physical mechanics of survival. The museum's Anatolian weights and measures collection holds thousands of instruments dating back to prehistory, showing exactly how land, commerce, and medicine were quantified. Among these functional tools is an early Byzantine steelyard, a basic bronze lever and weight system used somewhere between the 5th and 7th centuries for everyday market transactions. Curious, scratched directly into the bronze beam of this commercial tool is an engraved Greek curse. You do not engrave a spiritual threat onto a piece of accounting equipment unless you have a serious problem with theft. It points to an economic environment where merchants and buyers deeply distrusted each other, constantly fearful of shaved weights and short-changed goods. Precise bronze counterweights were clearly not enough to ensure economic stability. The Byzantine marketplace required the very real threat of divine punishment to keep buyers and sellers honest. From the heavy bronze of the ancient market, the museum pivots to the delicate evolution of domestic life in its Kütahya tiles and ceramics collection. For centuries, massive Iznik tiles dominated Imperial Ottoman architecture. As those workshops declined, artisans in the city of Kütahya began producing a distinct alternative, experimenting with white clay and transparent underglaze techniques. By the 18th century, Kütahya craftspeople had developed a vibrant new palette. They painted stylized botanical motifs, human figures, and religious subjects, using bright splashes of cobalt, turquoise, yellow, and purple. This shift marks the final original style in Turkish ceramic art. Instead of building imposing mosques, these artisans designed small plates, cups, and rosewater sprinklers, bringing high-level artistry directly into the intimate spaces of daily Ottoman life. This documentation of physical craft eventually gives way to sharp cultural introspection, housed in the Orientalist painting collection. Here sits the most culturally significant artifact in the building, Osman Hamdi Bey's 1906 masterwork, the Tortoise Trainer. The painting features an exhausted, stooped man in a tiled room attempting to train a group of tortoises. The trainer is actually a heavily disguised self-portrait of the artist himself. The trainer wears a long red garment and a turban, a style predating the mid-19th century Tanzimat reforms, while carrying a dervish flute and a small nakare drum. He stands ready to play his instruments, but the tortoises completely ignore his commands, choosing instead to eat green leaves scattered on the floor. The image strips away any illusion of progress. The slow-moving, stubborn tortoises operate as a direct metaphor for the agonizingly slow and ineffective attempts of modernizing the Ottoman state. Created in 1906, the painting arrived during immense social and political turmoil, just 2 years before the Young Turk Revolution upended the government and pushed the failing empire closer to its final collapse. In placing himself as the exhausted trainer, Hamdi Bey delivers a biting, tragic satire of an empire entirely incapable of saving itself. The Pera Museum does not treat these objects as static relics sitting in a quiet mausoleum. It remains an active participant in Istanbul's cultural evolution. The institution aggressively juxtaposes its deep historical collections with experimental temporary exhibitions featuring global modern art. Viewing a contemporary installation analyzing artificial intelligence inside the exact same building that houses ancient Byzantine market curses forces you to view both eras differently. Inscribed above the window in The Tortoise Trainer is a phrase, "Healing of the hearts lies in reunion." That specific line,
easily doubles as the museum's modern mandate, bringing the ancient past and the present into direct conversation. Beyond the paintings, beyond the ceramics or the ancient scales, the true value of the Pera Museum is its ability to take the artifacts of dead empires and use them to fuel the creative pulse